Students, welcome you all on the behalf of Rahul Anand Tutorials. So as you know that I am Rahul Anand and this is somewhat around my channel whose name is actually the Rahul Anand Tutorials. So now let's begin with the very interesting topics which are often being asked in terms of your NEET, often the AIIMS, often the here in terms of the All India Pre-Medical Examination. So these are belonging from which of the chapters of your book? So these are belonging from these in the organism and population. So here we are going to study about what? So here we are going to study about the organism and population. But primarily we will be understanding about what case? We will be understanding about this meaning of the species case. So what are species? The group of organisms which can reproduce among themselves as well as do what? So the group of organisms which can reproduce among themselves and can produce what? And can produce the similar kind of the offspring. So this will be coming under what case? So this will be coming under your species case. Often when we are talking about the case of the species, you have to remember the certain facts in it. So what are actually these? So the group of organisms which is resembling what? Which is resembling the similar kind of the chromosomes or either the same set of chromosomes. So this will be coming under what case? So this will be coming under your here when it of the species case. For example, when we are talking about the case of what? Of actually the human being. So we are actually having how many of the chromosomes? So they are around how much? So we are actually having 48 of the chromosomes. In which what will be happening? The 46 will be what? So the 46 of the chromosomes will be coming under what case? So it will be coming under the autosomes. Means what? All the another chromosomes which are literally coming under the rest of the sex chromosomes. So this will be coming under what case? So this will be coming under your here in terms of the autosomes. On the other hand, you are having the two pairs. Means what? Around 4 of the chromosomes. So this will be coming under what case? So this will be coming under your, tell me, so this will be coming under your here in terms of the allosomes. Means what? Directly proportional for the sex chromosomes. Often when we are talking about the sex chromosomes, you are very clear about that. Means what are actually these? So this will be actually the X chromosomes as well as the Y chromosomes. Remember when we are talking about the X chromosomes, so these are directly proportional for what? So your X chromosomes are directly proportional for the femaleness characteristics. As well as the Y chromosomes are directly proportional for what? So these are directly proportional for the maleness characteristics. Often when we are talking about the case of the Y chromosomes, so these are actually what, tell me? So these are particularly dominant in nature. Means what? It's playing an important role for what? For playing an important role to provide the influence over what? Over your X chromosomes, because these are quite a bit dominant in nature. On the other hand, we are having the X chromosomes. So these are directly proportional for what? So these are directly proportional for the recessive characteristics. Thus, it will be suppressed with reference by whom? With reference by the dominant one. Dominant one. Often here, when we are talking about the case of the dominant, so these are actually what? So these are actually Y chromosomes. Now, as well as the X are directly proportional for what? So these are known as the, tell me, so these are known as these in terms of the, here, in terms of the recessive characteristics. Now, after that, when we are talking about the another case, so remember about these means what are actually the chromosomes. Often in terms of the different types of the forms of the animals, we will be having the different sets as well as the number of the chromosomes, such as in terms of the dolphins. Often in terms of the, here, in terms of what? In terms of the another types of the animals such as the whales, as well as the cows, as well as the dogs. But literally we will be understanding about that in terms of our next lecture. Now, so let's understand about this in terms of the species. So your species are often being divided in terms of the two broad categories. So these are what? So these are the dimorphism as well as the polymorphism. Now, so let's understand about this means what are actually the dimorphism. So when we are talking about the dimorphism, these are what? So the occurrence of around what? So the occurrence of two forms of the belonging from the similar species. So this will be coming under what case? So the occurrence of the two forms generally belonging from the similar species. So this will be coming under from what case? So it will be coming under your dimorphism case. Often when we are talking about the example, so you are having the very best example. Remember, so you are having the pea plant resembling the different types of the broad categories. In term here, when we are talking about the two case, directly proportional for what? So it will be directly proportional for the dimorphism case. Thus, here we will be controlling as well as resembling the two kinds of the characteristics with reference to what? With reference to your pea plant, and these will be actually what? So this will be the red pea plant as well as what? Red pea plant as well as the white pea plant. Often. So you would often find it on the board here. So red flower pea plant as well as the white flower pea plant. Here we are having what? The two broad kinds of the characteristics in it. Now let's understand about this, what are actually the polymorphism. So when we are talking about the polymorphism, in this case what will be happening? So the occurrence of more than two form of what? The occurrence of more than two form belonging from the similar species. It will be coming under what case? So it will be coming under your polymorphism case. So similar species, you are very clear about that. And when we are talking about the here many term the more than two forms, means what? Here we will be having the more than two of the contrasting characteristics, more than two, in terms of what? It could be 3, as well as it could be larger than 3. So this will be coming under what case? So this will be directly proportional for your polymorphism case. And you are often very clear about that, means what are actually the meaning of the poly. Poly is directly proportional for what? More than 2, or either in terms of the infinity case. Now, so let's understand with reference by the help of the example. So you are having the very good example with reference to what? With reference to the honeybees. So in this case of the honeybees, we are having the 3 broad kinds of the categories in it. So these are what? So these are the worker bees. Often what? Often in terms of the queen bees, then the drone bees. Resembling the 3 of the broad kinds of the specialized role. So when we are talking about these cases, means what are actually the role of the honeybees? So it will be playing an important role for influencing the overall characteristics in terms of commanding what? In terms of commanding all the particular different types of the bees, to how particularly participate in terms of what? To how actually participate in terms of the formation of the honey. Often playing important role for what? Playing important role to decide the safeguardings with reference to what? With reference to their territory of what? Actually of these, meaning in terms of the honey, as well as the particularly boxes on which or rather the hives on which they actually present or rather living. On the other hand, you are having these, meaning in terms of the worker bees. Directly proportional for the role of what? So your worker bees will be playing an important role for the here, meaning in terms of what? Meaning in terms of the secreting of the honey, particularly, as well as what? Secreting of the honey, as well as processing it, as well as when we are taking, as well as understanding about the role of the drone bees. So the role of your drone bees will be what? Tell me. So the drone bees will play an important role to safeguard the particular territory with reference to the hives on which they are living, as well as often safeguarding the territory, resembling as well as understanding about the role of the here, meaning of the drone. So your drone bees can particularly participate as well as safeguard, as well as particularly rotate in terms of what? Around 30 kilometers. As well as when we are talking about these cases in terms of the worker bees. So this could often go in terms of the role as well as the distance of how much of the kilometers. So it will be around 30 kilometers. So they could actually roll around 30 kilometers in search of what? In search of the suitable kind of the flowers on which from they are collecting what? The honey, as well as processing it in terms for the formation of the honeybee. So this is somewhat the condition when we are talking about the honey. So these are literally coming under honeybees are literally coming under what case? So it will be coming under your polymorphism case. So find here. Often when we are talking about these cases in terms of the polymorphism, so you are often having the different as well as the broad kind of the here main term of the examples in it. So these are what? So these are the Medabeans jalpa. Directly proportional for what? So these are known as the 4 o'clock plant. Often these will be having the different type of the broad categories in it. So these are actually what? So these are the here meaning term of the red color flowered plant, as well as what? As well as the yellow color flowered plant. Often what? Often the another type of the contrasting characteristics such as what? Such as the red flowered plant. Often what? Often in terms of the white flowered plant, the blue flowered plant, as well as what? As well as these in terms of the here often could be white, as well as what? Semi-white, as well as it could be another such as the pink color of the flower plant. So these will be coming under what case? So these will be coming under your polymorphism case. So these will be resembling the more than 2 forms. Thus these are coming under what case? So thus these are particularly coming under your polymorphism case. Now, so let's understand about these, meaning what are actually the here in terms of the interaction of the species. So you remember actually what are actually the species. So we are often having the different types of the communication mechanism by which what will be happening? These species will particularly interact with themselves as well as what? To one another, playing important role for what? Playing important role in order for the different coordinates of the life supporting mechanism, as well as providing what? Providing the best mode of what? The transformation of the ecology. So ecology as well as this meaning term the transformation of the ideology. Fine. So ideology you are remembering as well as understanding about that means what? In terms of the globalization, we have understood what are actually these mean terms of the ideology. Means what? The transformation of ideology is directly proportional for what? Directly proportional for the globalization case. So but these are particularly quite a bit of the diverse as well as developed form of what? The developed form the communication mode. But here in this case when we are talking about this case of the species. So in this case what will be happening? So in this case the interaction between the species will be occurring as well as taking place. So you could often find here on the board here. Thus, when we are talking about these cases, means what are actually the interaction in each species. So in this case, what will be happening? So the member of the species interact with one another with reference to the different modes. So these are actually coming under as well as known as what? So these are actually known as the intraspecific interaction. Often you are having the broad kind of the interaction. So now let's understand about this, means what are actually the intraspecific interaction, as well as these are oftenly being further divided in terms of the two broad categories. So these are actually what? So these are like this, such as the cooperative interaction as well as what? As well as the competitive interaction. Now, so you are very clear about that. Means what are actually the interaction? Means what? Some kind of the turbulence as well as the interference which are generally being made with reference to what? With reference in terms of the two organisms in order for what? In order for the transformation of the ideology in term. So when we are talking about the ideology directly proportional for the globalization case, means what? The transformation of the symbolizing message. Remember? So here we will be having the two broad kind of the message as well as the transforming ideology in it. So these are actually what? So these are the cooperative interaction as well as on the other hand we are having the competitive interaction. So when we are talking about the competitive interaction, directly proportional for what? So suppose that we are having the birds. So there when we are talking about these cases, means what actually the competitive interaction. So there could be particularly race of what? Of race of the particular suitable mating. Fine. So suppose that when we are having the case of the ostrich in terms of the female, so there are particularly the different types of the symbolizing interaction which are being made with reference in the course of the mating by the male ostrich. So they have to particularly run as well as jump as well as compete with reference to the another kind of the male ostrich in order to provide what? In order to provide the dominancy as well as provide the particular coordinates that whether they are suitable for the here meaning term of the mating or either not, just like our examination. So we are having the examination in order for what? In order for testing our particularly knowledge as well as the skills which are particularly examining with reference to what? With reference to that here specialized type of the type in it. Now, so when we are talking about these cases in terms of the competitive interaction, you are often having the different types of the broad competitive interaction. So suppose that we are having the forest and there the presence of the here meaning of the four lions as well as the here meaning of the female lions. So there will be particularly what? Here meaning of the competitive interaction in order for the race of what? In order of the race of the here meaning of the mating of it. So suppose that there will be the presence of what? The cubs also with reference to what? With reference from the another male here male lion as well as the male